Hello ladies and gentlemen, God's Woodsman for you here today, and I'm going to teach you one of the many ways that you can hang up a tarp. This is the way that I normally do it. It's sort of like a little lean-to. You're just going to need a tarp, a little bit of paracord, and a couple of sticks, a little piece of pine cone, and a couple of tent pegs that you can either make, and I'll have a link in the video on how to make tent pegs. So, first thing we need to do is we need to take some string and tie in between these two trees. For this particular shelter, I'm not going to go super high, just because of the kind of shelter that I'm going. I'll have a link in the video down below on the 3 basic knots you need for this. I usually lay out enough rope because I don't need to necessarily uncoil all this. Go around the tree with it. Sometimes I'll just stick the extra rope just underneath the string. And we're going to go down to the other side. And for this one, I usually do it about a little bit higher than my hips for my size tarp. So it would depend on what size tarp you have for this. So I'm just going to tie off this side good and tight. I think I got a little bit too much string for this one. I'm just going to coil up this extra string and lay it up here so it's not all over the ground. And then what we're going to do is going to take the tarp, and I always buy camo tarps or something that blends in. I know you can get bright orange ones, but I just can't hardly handle having something that just sticks out like a sore thumb when you're back in the mountains. I like to somewhat blend in. A couple short little pieces and a couple of pine cones is what I'm going to do next. And I'm going to bring you in closer, bring the camera in closer so you can see this part. Okay, what we're going to do for the next part is make a knot that's adjustable that will stay in place. It's called a compression knot. So we're going to take the rope in half and put a loop over, and we're just going to go around this a few times, and then we're going to come back down through the end where the loop is and go through it, and it'll kind of flop around a little bit. Now that's an adjustable knot. You can move it and it'll stay right where you want it to. Rock climbers actually use these to go up a rope. You can go up a little ways and then stop and go up a little bit more. What we're going to use it for is you go to the corner of your tarp and we're going to tie on to the corner of the tarp. Maybe, if I can get the loop, let's take the rope through that little loop and go through it, and we're just going to do a simple overhand knot. Just a little square knot or whatever, granny knot. Nothing fancy. Now, we got that side. Now let's go do the other side. Okay, we've already made the compression knot here. We're just going to run it through the tarp, corner of the tarp again, which that was my biggest trouble before. If my fingers get any bigger, I won't be able to carry them. Okay, same thing, just a simple over the hand granny knot, nothing fancy. And then we're just going to cinch this tight so it makes that tarp good and tight. Now I've got my tarp strung from one side to the other nice and tight, and I can also adjust it from side to side. Then all we got to do is secure the corners. If you've got big enough loops, you can probably just stick the tent peg through the little loops in the corner of your tarp. If you do not, what you're probably going to have to do is what I'm going to do here, is I'm just going to drive a tent peg in. Just use the back of my axe. And I'll have a link at the bottom of the video on how to make tent pegs. So then we're just going to take a little piece of rope here Same thing through the corner of the tarp. Just like that. There's this little knot here. And then we're just going to go around it. There you have it. That's secure. So here's your basic setup. You can just sit down right here. You can have your fire in front of you. Lay down in here. It's big enough to keep the worst of the rain off of you, or worst of the sun. Have your camp set up in front of you. And this is one of the most basic ways that I set up a tent, or set up a tarp. But this right here is pretty much it. And you basically just reverse, take everything down, coil up the rope, fold up the tarp. Always fold up your tarp, or roll it up. Some people like to roll it up real nice and neat. I don't really care either way. This has been God's Woodsman on how to put up a tarp. Thank you so much for watching. If you have an idea of a video you'd like to see me make, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to make it. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Here's some more videos that you might be interested in.